Trump claims banks discriminate against conservatives, including him. In a bold assertion, former President Trump has claimed that major financial institutions are engaging in discriminatory practices against conservatives, himself included. This issue has taken a more personal turn for Trump as he expresses his frustrations with the banking sector. The White House is reportedly drafting an executive order that could impose penalties on banks that refuse to provide services based on political affiliations. This initiative is said to be inspired by the challenges faced by conservative organizations and cryptocurrency firms, as highlighted in a recent report by the Wall Street Journal. But here's where it gets controversial. Many people might question whether such government intervention is necessary or if it could lead to unintended consequences in the financial sector. Are we witnessing a genuine concern for political fairness? Or is this a strategic move to rally support among conservative voters? As this situation unfolds, it raises important questions about the balance between political beliefs and business practices. What do you think? Should banks be held accountable for their political biases? Or is this an overreach of government power? Share your thoughts in the comments. Kudlow, banks forced to turn away Trump business after January 6th. One of the biggest debates today revolves around how major banks treat high-profile clients once they step away from political power. And this story is no exception. Larry Kudlow, a prominent Fox Business host and former director of the National Economic Council under President Trump, did not hold back in criticizing one of America's top financial institutions after President Trump claimed that the bank cut ties with him following his departure from the White House in 2020. Kudlow shared insights during his Fox appearance, explaining that the banks themselves say their hands were tied. I've spoken with the senior executives at these banks, and they made it clear. Regulators pressured them. Citing events like the January 6th Capitol riot and criminal charges brought against Trump in 2022, Kudlow revealed. They warned of fines and even criminal prosecutions if the banks didn't comply. This paints a picture of an intense regulatory environment influencing banking decisions beyond just typical business considerations. This comment came shortly after Trump publicly stated on CNBC that J.P. Morgan Chase refused to manage his finances once his presidency ended. The core issue here isn't merely about Trump's personal banking, but about the larger implications of regulatory overreach and political influence on banking choices. What Kudlow pointed out next is particularly provocative. The banks are really worried about reputational risk because regulators and supervisors keep close tabs on them and can come down hard. He went on to suggest that a renewed executive order from Trump could potentially curb what he described as discrimination against conservatives by financial firms, a topic that sparks intense debate about fairness, politics, and the role of government in financial regulation. I've heard from the banks directly. They say they had no option but to act the way they did, blamed on the Biden administration's regulators, Kudlow said. While he acknowledged this might be accurate, he emphasized that it's still a deeply troubling situation, raising questions about political bias in financial services. During the same CNBC interview, Trump defended some of his controversial decisions, such as removing the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics and imposing tariffs on foreign countries, arguing these moves are meant to give the United States a competitive edge in global trade. These statements add yet another layer to the ongoing discussion about how political actions intersect with economic policies. This case opens up an important dialogue. Should banks maintain distance from clients due to political controversies and regulatory pressures? Or is this an overreach that threatens fair treatment and financial freedom? What do you think? Are regulators protecting the system, or are they unfairly targeting certain political figures? Share your thoughts and let's get the conversation going.